We can look forward. So we are ready to start. And then we do nothing until the very end. So that's it. We're all good? Yeah. And we'll practice. Thank you. Thank you.
Gonna give us nice music. To start the meeting with.
Doctor's office. Okay, so we're going?
We are going.
Okay, I'd like to call this meeting to order. This is the Fraser Park Public Utility District Regular State Planning and Projects Meeting for Thursday, June 27th, 2024. We're starting at 4:01 p.m. And we are going to start with the pledge to the flag. If all could rise. Cool. Ready? Oh, no.
Ready now.
Ready, begin.
I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, everyone. Okay, we're gonna do the roll call of directors. Director Garcia appears to be absent.
Yes.
Director Nyman.
Here.
Director Gibson.
Here.
Director Kelly.
Here.
Okay, so that's 4 out of 5. I'm Director Schoenberg and I'm present. So we do have a quorum. We will move on to item 2, discussion, vote, adjust agenda if necessary. Do we need to adjust the agenda?
I think that we should,
Adjust
bring,
for
the closed session, bring that up
to the beginning.
after, number 5,
Okay, so we'll be bringing the closed session
8
forward.
and 9.
Which is 8, 9, and 10. To after item number 5, was there a second to that motion?
I'll second that.
Okay, is there any discussion? Roll call vote, Director Garcia absent, Director Nyman.
Aye.
Director Gibson.
Hi.
Director Kelling.
Aye.
Director Schoenberg is an aye, that motion passes, that's 4-0-0-1 absent. And so items 8, 9, and 10 will be directly after item 5. We're gonna move on to item 3, public comments. Are there any public that need to make comments or would like to make comments? I don't even see any public on the meeting, which is unusual. Let's see, those are items not listed on the agenda. No, okay, hearing none, I'm gonna move on to item 4. I don't see hardly anyone here.
That's because they're still playing card.
Well.
And Carlos won't be at the meeting.
Okay. Okay, standing committee reports, accounts payable committee, we're gonna start with that, accounts payable committee met,
We met, we went through invoices.
There wasn't,
There's just a handful of invoices and,
and we did cut the check
Checks.
for the,
brought,
progress payment 3,
Right.
which we got the, loan from, so.
but we got the
Yeah.
bridge loan.
Okay, there's Joan. Okay, welcome, Joan. You didn't have any public comments, right, Joan? We just passed that?
It's
I
not.
don't think so. Okay, state update meeting.
Most of those will be covered on the agenda today, so
Okay.
we can do.
Okay, and on to item 5, ad hoc committee reports, project committee.
We haven't met.
Okay, and financial committee.
We didn't meet.
Correct. So, and I don't think either of those are scheduled to meet yet.
No.
Unless something happens at this meeting. So we will move on if hearing nothing else on those. We're gonna move on to item, so we're done with 5. We're gonna move on to our closed session. So I'm gonna make an oral announcement. So, Joan, Dee, well, Dee, you can be in the closed session, but, Joan and Deborah, we're gonna go into a closed session, just to talk with, our attorney about a couple of things. And so I'm gonna do that and then we'll be back out. So, let's move forward, due to a motion. So, oral announcement prior to closed session, Government Code 54957.7A. A representative of the legislative body to orally announce the items to be discussed in closed session prior to any closed session meeting. Items to be discussed. Eight, closed session pursuant to government code 54957, conference with legal counsel, existing litigation, government code 54956.9 D1. Fraser Park Public Utility District versus CNC Elite Properties LLC et al. Kern County Superior Court, case number BCB 24 100199. Item 9, closed session pursuant to government code 54957, conference with legal counsel, existing litigation.
Yeah.
Keep going.
Keep going.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, keep going.
Okay, government code, 54956.9 D, I didn't read that, D1. CNC Elite Properties LLC and Hacienda Sasado Inc. versus Fraser Park Public Utility Districts. Kern County Superior Court, case number BCV 24 101972. Item 10, closed session pursuant to government code 54957. Conference with real property negotiators, government code 54956.8, property 256-070-54, 256-070-55, and added 256-520-13. Agency negotiators, Lisa Schoenberg, Brahma Nyman, and D. Jasper. Negotiating parties, Jeff French, Emily Wainwright, under negotiation, price, and terms of payment. So with that, we are going to go into a closed session. The time is 4:07 PM. And we will be back as soon as we can, folks.
let it, I don't know if we wanna let everybody know. We're unmuted, but we can let everybody in the main room know that we're gonna.
Before I plug
Okay,
it,
let me, don't unplug it yet. I don't know if everyone can hear me. We're having audio difficulty. I'm going to come out of closed session. So, the time right now is 4:30. We're going to return from the closed session. Oral announcement following closed session, government code 54957.1A. The legislative body of any local agency shall publicly report any action taken in closed session and the vote or abstention on that action of every member present thereon. We did not take any action. It was informational only. So at this point, we are back out of closed session.
say something, Dee.
Can you hear us, Dee?
Yes, can you hear me?
Oh, yeah,
Yes,
we
it was
can
the
hear
closed
you
session that
perfectly. There was
messed up.
something wrong with the closed session.
Yeah.
Okay. Joan, can you say something? Or Mary? I just want to make sure we can hear.
I can hear you guys.
Okay, great. So, yeah, so
So
we
we're
had a
good.
problem with the
Closed
closed
session
session.
glitch.
So we are back out of closed session and we don't need to do anything with our audio. We just couldn't hear well earlier. Okay, we're gonna go on to item number 11. No, we're gonna go on to item number 6, discussion vote on accounts payable and financial information, and that's Deborah Angel.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Okay. I'm sorry. Okay, so we prepared 11 checks out of the revenue operating account for a total of $10,346.20. And there were no extraordinary disbursements. And we prepared one check out of the meter well account. It was the third progress payment for Bruff Construction in the amount of $292,510.70.
Okay, well, I would like, to-
Well, there is an issue. Do we want to discuss
yeah,
the issue of our,
Pace.
that's something I'm gonna handle, right? Right, but we need to let Deborah know, so, basically, we, are,
We asked Johnny about the pace and why it was so expensive, and he's gonna call them Monday. And so we're gonna hold that check.
Okay,
And
because
Okay.
basically they are charging us a fee for not having a large enough
invoice.
invoice, but yet at least one of the multiple charges, well, two of the multiple charges were on the same day and they invoiced them as separate invoices so that they could charge us an extra $162 per invoice when they should have put them together and just charged one excess invoice fee because it still wouldn't have made enough money because they're basically charging us $275 every time for a $75 back tea. So
Which is
yeah,
outrageous.
so we're going to call and then we also, I believe, are going to direct Johnny, unless it's an emergency, not to take anything else there to that company.
okay.
Okay, I would like to make a motion that we pay our bills.
I will second it.
Okay, there's a motion and a second on the floor. Any discussion? Okay, we'll call directors. Director Garcia is absent. Director Nyman.
Aye.
Director Gibson.
Aye.
Director Kelling.
Aye.
Director Schulberg is an aye, so that motion passes 4-0-0-1 absent, and we will be paying our bills.
And you have a good night.
Well,
Oh, does
Well,
she have to
well-
be here for the next?
well, she should.
Yeah,
Before-
that should be-
Before you dismiss me, I just wanted to let you know that I was given permission by Johnny to deliver the PC PAL disbursement if it was approved for payment. Just so that you know, I do have that disbursement to hand to Bill.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
Okay.
and then I think we actually do want you to stay for item seven, so if there's nothing else on item 6, I'm gonna move on to item 7. Discussion vote on changing the monthly transfers, so, who would like to discuss that?
Well, that deals with the bond book. You guys went through that.
So whatever the amount
We
is,
have, we didn't have enough directors last time, or it wasn't on the agenda. Okay, so, yeah, I don't have the amount in front of me. Do you?
you know,
So how are we going to vote on the amount? I guess we can just, vote
Well,
in
because we were
general.
putting 10,000 into the capital improvement, but now that stopped, so now.
Right, so what's at issue is that the, bond book was misread and, we have been putting in an incorrect amount into our, account for the, revenue
Replacement.
and particularly the replacement fund for the USDA. Not the, loan 6 replacement fund, which is, a stated amount, so we've been doing that correctly. It was the
loans 3
one
and
where you
4.
had to figure out everything out of the bond book based on percentages, and it was not accrued correctly. So, I can't make a motion, but I would propose, I would entertain a motion that we stop, which we already have, but that we stop, for a more prolonged period, putting money into the capital improvement, and that we put money.
I make a motion, okay, I make a motion that we, stop putting money into the capital improvement fund and that we, start putting into the replacement fund the actual amount that we need, which is probably $7,000 or $8,000. I'm not sure what that total is, but you've done, you know, whatever that amount, whatever that amount is, that we start putting that amount in.
Is that on the computer?
Yeah, it's on the, I think it's in my folder. Do we need the exact amount?
Well, yeah, because I'm gonna need to know so I can,
Sorry.
unless one of you two are gonna do it.
Well, I gave you this paper, so you have this paper.
No, I don't have the bond book stuff. You and Brahma did all of that.
No, I gave you this because we did it together and then I went
Oh.
over it with Brahma. You should have a copy of it. So the monthly. Requirement, the monthly replacement requirements for loan 4. And I have it in this paperwork, which, I will make sure that Director Kelly has, but that she should have. It's also on the computer under FPPUD1. But the amount for 23-24, which would be the current amount we should be putting in, is on loan 4 is $5,272.50. And that's monthly,
5,000
$272.50. That's just one of the loans.
as loan 3.
That's loan 4.
4, okay. What
And,
about loan 3?
hold on a second, and that's going to change each year. Wait, what did I give you the amount? No, I'm sorry, I gave you the wrong one. $5,187.50.
187.
$5,187.50. That changes in October 2024 to $5,102.50. And then I have the changes listed until 2028, 2029. I'm gonna try to list them through the life of the loan. I haven't done that yet. And then the amount for loan 3 is 24.
Okay. And,
And then it changes to 2,216.88.
2002-16.
88.
okay,
Now, that does not account for monies that did not go in for
Right.
the last however many years. I only went back to October 2019. So I would propose that we also put in a one-time payment. Well, it can't be one time, it's gonna be too large. Put in a monthly payment of at least back as far as I've calculated. Are we able to do that?
Probably
well,
not.
okay. I'm not, what I'm thinking is right now, if you put those two together, like I said, it's like $7,500, okay? So what I propose, this is what, I propose that we stop the capital improvement fund of $10,000 at this point. Then we, change loan number 4. Put in a monthly amount through October of $5,187.50. And then from October to October of next year, put in transfers of $5,102.50. And then on loan number 3, that we put $2,258.13 through October. And that we put $22,1688 from October of November of 24 to October of 25. That amount, and that then we put in an additional transfer separately of $2,500 a month going forward, to help, which would, make us at about $10,000. So we could start putting some more money in over and above.
When?
Going forward, just a $2,500 a month per reserve, because we've gotten how many years? I mean, we've got several years of not putting in that amount. So as a
We're
goodwill,
not gonna catch up.
we're not,
I know we're not gonna catch up, but
But-
here's my concern. At this point, we know the exact amount that we haven't done back to 2019. I would almost say we should put those amounts in additionally.
I don't think we have the money
We
to
don't
do
have the
that.
money.
I mean, I'm thinking we're already,
It's 7,000, not 2,500. It's about 7.
yeah, so
We're
you
putting in
don't, we
7,
don't
if we
have,
go to 10,
right, we don't have enough to put, we
we
don't have enough.
to put 50,000 a year.
15,000, or you gotta stop the 5,000 that you have going into the other account.
I say we just wait until we get the
I don't think we
standby fee
can,
done.
I don't think we can do that. We've been doing it incorrectly.
It doesn't matter, we can start doing it, cause it shows that
We can do
our
it correctly
effort,
now.
that we're doing it correctly, and that we're putting in extra money. If they call us on it, then we explain it, it's not gonna be,
Yeah.
I mean, that's
But
all
what
we
I'm
can say,
saying
we
is
don't have.
we know to 2019. We
Yeah,
haven't calculated pre-2019.
but
Yeah, I mean,
even
they
in
should have caught that
2019,
too all this time, so we're not doing something that,
they should have been telling us.
in good faith, we got it.
Right, but
Yes.
what I'm saying is that I do think that we should not be putting into this is basically the same or similar to what we're doing on the other 2 accounts. The only difference is the other 2 accounts are the entire district as opposed to the 2 USDA projects. But the
Right.
2 USDA projects cover most of what we need to deal with anyway. So my take would be that we
Well, where are you gonna get the money?
don't don't put the money into the SLA, that we don't put the money into the capital reserve right now, starting us right now, because.
We
we've
are
been
putting money in capital reserve. We haven't been
I
for 2
know.
months now.
So I would include the SLA on that, which is another $5,000, and that brings us to about the amount we need to be putting in going back to
But
twenty
if
nineteen.
something critical happens and we need money,
It would, then we
We
can
can
ask the
easily take it.
USDA to
yeah, but what
borrow
if we
money
have,
out of
what
it.
if we get what if we all of a sudden have to come up with money to put in a well?
We're allowed
To take it out
to
of,
take money from.
for a well that was not part of the loans?
I think it's only.
That's what I'm
for
saying.
the-
It's
Only for
supposed
those
to be
loans.
stuff related to the loan, right?
It's supposed to be, but actually the wording in the bond book is very vague and it just says that we can ask permission to take that money out. I will read it again, but my
Is
understanding
that
of
what you
it
found from them? That we can borrow it for whatever?
for the system.
For the system, yeah, I think so.
So even though it's specifically supposed to cover what we put in, if something else in the system is going to affect what we put in, which the well certainly would, then I believe we're able to ask for it for that as well, because that would affect the tank, that would affect things that we did put in as part of the USDA loan.
Well, then I recommend we put this off for 2 weeks. Don't worry about transferring any money, changing things until we read the bond book and find out, because I've always been told by Greg and you after the fact that if it's related, like the telemetry, if it's related to the loan, you can spend the money. But we gotta know if it's something totally separate, otherwise it's not really a,
But we already have some money in the SLA, we've been putting in, we already have some money, almost $1 million.
Well, it wasn't the SLA, you're putting money into you're not putting money into the SLA every month, you're putting money into the general, our previous general fund where we've taken money
Right.
to make our bills.
Yes.
Which we
that's,
shouldn't have
and
been
that,
doing.
Well,
and
we
that,
have to.
well, we have to, we have no choice. So, I mean, the reality is, that's operation money, if it goes away,
Well, I thought you were putting
unfortunately.
money in the SLA as well, we're
No.
not putting any money in the SLA.
No, as far as I know, there's no money going into the SLA.
We're
It's
putting
only,
it back because we've had to
you,
use,
you've been putting $5,000 a month into the general fund because you wanted the money put back in. And that's the only thing that we've been doing.
because we have not been able to meet operating expenses. And so we were using that money in order to get road base and in order to get this other stuff that we need. And
that's never ending.
it's never ending, and so we borrow from there, and then you wanted it put back, we're putting it back, but
Okay, then I would propose that we try to stretch it to half of what we need to put in.
So what is the half
on this.
number? Give me the half number.
because we're saying we need to put in the 10,000 from,
Right, but
So-
what it really is 7 or thereabouts, and then what it really is another 7 or thereabouts, so
I don't think we
right
got
now
14 or
it
15,000.
would be about 3,500 would be half of that, I'm just gonna, add
that's-
that, 5,
Okay, that's fine.
2, 7, 2. Plus 2, 9. Okay, so for last year, it would be 3,785.94, so it would be about 3,500.
Well, and it's still
Okay,
about the
okay,
10,000.
so continuing on that motion. Make a separate transfer for $3,500 going forward. Into the replacement
Okay.
fund.
Now, let me ask you this though.
And I also move that you stop putting in the $5,000 for that general fund
Okay,
account. Cause you don't have the money to do it.
I'm wondering why, if we're not meeting bills right now, and we have to borrow money from the previous
But
account,
some of what we
why are
got,
we still putting money away extra towards something that's already done and gone? Did we
Because she wanted to
eventually catch up?
replace it.
Because
He wants
we're
to
not
replace it.
supposed to be dipping into that, that's supposed to be money that is there. Okay, first of all, the reason why we've had to dip into stuff over and over and over again is that we've been prepaying before this bridge loan, quite a bit of stuff.
That's all come back now.
It has not all come back,
I think it's because we're not bringing in enough money.
huh?
And the
It's all
costs
coming.
don't go away. So all I'm saying is that until we rectify the fact, why are we stressing over putting money in an account that I still don't think we can touch if we need it? As opposed to putting it into account that we know we can touch if we need it. Until we get the standby fee and all that stuff hashed out.
Because we are obligated through the bond book to be doing this.
But they're also obligated to tell us, and
No,
we've
they're
been
not.
doing it this whole time.
They told us, they gave us the bond book. We did it wrong. Our bookkeeper did not.
I guess you don't understand what I'm saying, but if you can't squeeze any more blood out of the turnip is what I'm saying. So if you have no money and you're borrowing it from an account you want paid back every time we borrow it, why would we continue borrowing more if we can't pay back right now? If we have to borrow it to put it into that account, why don't we just go ahead and catch up, take it from that general account before that we ain't supposed to touch and just go ahead and pay it up with that account, and not worry about we ain't supposed to spend that money that was set aside before, because nothing ever said that. That's just what you guys did.
No, it does say that.
It said
says that in the
that
book
if
as
you get a
well.
USDA loan, you gotta set aside every bit of money you had prior and never touch that money again,
It doesn't say
because
that.
that's what we're doing with it. And
It
that's-
says that that money is not to be touched for the things that we're doing on the US.
No, I'm
not
saying-
gonna get into the whole discussion, but it's not, that money is money that the USDA cannot touch.
Yeah, agreed, because it's our money.
You're right, but it's not our money to pay obligations since the USDA. loan.
It's our money to pay obligations in our revenue account if we need to pay
No,
our
it's
revenue.
not, because
Yes,
the
it
revenue-
is, Lisa,
no,
because we
no.
have to keep the
We gotta keep the
operation
system
going.
But the revenue account is what we're supposed to be keeping solvent to be able to pay the USDA, not by borrowing off of money that was pre that. I'm just saying it's not really.
Well, then we are going to default if we don't touch the
We're
other
not
account.
going to default.
Just saying, we have the standby fee in the works.
Yeah.
We got some tentative dates that we're gonna address to start it, so
Well,
there's
that's
just
why I
no
was
rush to
making-
do something that's already been.
That's why I was making the suggestion of putting $2,500 more a month in there.
That would
That's
put the
showing
agenda.
good faith that we are doing what we can do.
But you still, and then still
It-
stopping the other one?
Well, we could,
Joe?
we could try and see if we can leave the
Because
Well,
we're
well,
already
we-
dipped way into
Well,
the.
we'll continue to do that, and then if we have to take money out to make our bills, we're gonna have to do that. So, I mean, and we keep putting it back, so, I mean, that's kind of a moot point. So my suggestion was that we have to pay $7,500 right now going forward, that we could pay that money going forward. That's enough, then you have about $2,500 more, because we were putting 10 grand into the
Right.
capital improvement. So you stop putting it in the capital improvement and you're putting an extra 2,500, which shows good faith. If they ever come and say anything, we have a transfer and we can say, this is what we found and we've already discussed it in the meeting. We're in good faith. We're already fixing it. We're working to fix it. And
Well, it's really just a capital improvement. It's basically the same as the
Right,
capital.
I
improvement
understand
fund.
that, Lisa.
They
but-
just
but-
didn't understand
right,
it when
and-
they told
but-
us we had. to
But
do
I
a
think
capital
we're
improvement
parsing
fund.
things because we're correcting the situation. We're going forward correcting the situation. And then we're putting an additional $2,500 shows that that's for back faith that we're going forward. And we'll keep that going forward. And then we can figure out, then we'll have to just figure out how much we need to put in there, what we should have had in there. In other words, from this, whatever that time period is, if it's a couple $100,000, I mean, we'll continue to put the 2,500 in until it catches up. You know what I'm saying? It's just something that's gonna have to be done because it wasn't done properly in the beginning.
You know, we still got 30 years or 25 years on the loan, so it's not like we're not gonna catch up. I just don't wanna wind up in a position where we can't borrow from that money, from the USDA loans. They were supposed to be locked in, those accounts were locked in for the USDA projects. And then all of a sudden, we have $1 million problem that comes up, and we can't access that money. It's better to have more money in that account so we could do it, because,
Well,
you know,
right
we know
now-
that we have several things
Okay,
right now that
right,
cost a huge amount
Yeah,
of money.
right now, what we're looking at, because we have in the capital improvement fund, you have 1.18 or whatever it is. And 150 or 180,000 of that, is going to the generator project that we have not paid.
Yeah.
So that leaves us probably around $950 or $1 million that we have for
So
emergencies.
one tanker, one well.
The generator project really should have been coming out of the SLA, because that's a short lived, that's not a long lived.
Well,
What do we have
Well,
in the
it-
SLA?
the SLA, I don't know. Deborah, do you know how much we have in the SLA?
I'm sorry. No, I would have to log in. I don't have that information in front of me. All that is in the office.
I can log in. No, I can't, because I don't know my numbers. I didn't bring my phone.
I think,
You wanna try to log in?
But you guys could pass your
See?
proposal now, and then it can be changed. And it's later.
But anyhow, but the point is, Lisa, whether we take it from the SLA or from the capital improvement, we already have spent $180,000 that's
Correct.
gonna be gone. So you're
Well,
gonna
we
end up,
got Bruff
so
also coming up.
well, Bruff that's a whole, they'll have to wait.
Oh, yeah.
That's a,
we're not paying, profit's gotta be paid by the state, that
Right,
should be
right.
coming out of our pocket.
right,
Right.
and so that's,
And what I'd like to see, this is what I'd like to see, which you may agree or not agree with, is that we just bring back the general fund by removing it from the capital improvement. That we put money in as much as we can within reason to try to pay back what we found out that we owe.
I think,
It's not
I don't
gonna
think
pay
we should
back.
discuss that today. We don't have the numbers. I think we can make these other changes, but I think we leave the
So
capital
right now-
improvement right now. And then we have to look at the SLA and see how much is in the SLA, because that may wipe out the SLA for the 180,000.
400,000.
Okay,
500,000.
okay, so that's something that we need to look at, so,
Good.
um,
So I said, I don't know. So we'd have to log on, and I can't log on because I don't have my phone. I didn't bring the numbers.
yeah, I don't have a balance sheet in
You
mind.
can go pull it. If you don't mind me clicking off for 1 second.
Did we lose people?
No, I'm just on a different screen. I'm going into
Oh, the bank.
no, I'm gonna go pull the financials from the last meeting.
That's
Go on
what I
our
was doing
website.
right now, I've got it. The last meeting, this is April.
Yeah, this is May.
Well, it's not gonna be that big a difference.
Yeah, it's up there. It's, right in front of it.
I can't see it.
Yeah.
Either on the capital improvement, construction planning pipeline.
Okay, what is in the short SLA account, the short term?
Oh, there it is. Capital improvement SLA is $311,262.
Okay, so we're pulling at least 180, so it's gonna end up about $100,000 with no other money going in it currently.
Right,
Right.
And then what's in the capital improvement right now?
Capital,
1,131,000.
yeah, 31,
And how much is the general fund right now?
73,750.
So it's like, the general fund before we started mucking with it was like 300,000 something.
I don't know the exact amount.
I would have to look back over time because we going into it a lot. Okay, well, I mean, I guess 25, I guess whatever the 10,000 we were putting into the capital
Right.
improvement is a fair assessment. We need to, I think, reconsider it, so I just would like you to add a friendly amendment to that motion that we can reconsider that amount again as soon as we work out numbers, but at least for this next month, we put in the 25 or next couple.
Oh, okay.
Well, you can always reconsider.
You can always
I know,
reconsider.
but-
Okay, I like, okay, I'd like to make a motion that we stop putting the $10,000 into the capital improvement.
Which we've already started, we continue.
Right, but it doesn't matter. Let me make my motion. Okay, and that we start putting through October of 24, $5,187.50 for loan number 4 till October of 24. Then starting November of 24 through October of 25, we put $5,102.50. Then I move that we, for loan number 3, we start putting $2,258.13 through October of 24. Then we start transferring $2,216.88 starting November of 24 through October of 25. Then starting next month for July, we start putting in $2,500 into that same reserve account to
Replacement.
into the replacement account to make up for that money that had not been going in there, that we have that just as a permanent
No end date.
no end date of $2,500, and that we leave everything as it is right now. And we can revisit those transfers once we want to look at it again.
And right now, going back into the general fund is 5,000 a month?
5,000.
And yes, and 5,000 is still going into the general fund.
Okay,
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Okay,
okay, any other discussion before I take a roll call vote? Okay, Director Garcia is absent, Director Nyman,
aye.
Director Gibson,
Abstain.
no.
Kelly,
Yeah, I know it's Kelly, but I was going to abstain, so now I can't. So,
okay, well then
Kelly, it's
you-
okay,
you
I'm
guys-
just gonna vote yes. Director Kelly?
I,
Okay, Director Schoenberg's an aye, so that motion passes 3-0, 1 abstention, which is Director Gibson, and is 1 absent, which is Director Garcia.
those transfers after the meeting.
Did you need any more clarification?
Oh, about, 10 years worth.
Okay,
It's
let me,
okay.
okay, let me.
I'll come and explain it to you.
Well,
tomorrow.
let me quickly try to explain. So in the replacement fund, we were supposed to be putting in close to $7,500 all along. But per month, according to the bond book. But we read the bond book wrong, and our previous
previous.
bookkeeper,
Two bookkeepers ago.
yeah, they figured out the information incorrectly. And so we were putting in a fraction, probably $1,000 a month. So we've not been putting in the proper amount to be in that replacement account. So now that we have found that, what the motion was about was what we have to put in, and it changes yearly from October to October. So like for number 4, this year was supposed to be $5,187.50. So that's why I made the motion to put that amount in, because that's what we need to do going forward. And then, of course, for another year was the 5,102.50. So then on loan number 3, we were supposed to put in for 23 to 24,
Mhm.
$2,258.13 a month. Okay, so we are correcting that and putting that, starting now through October, that amount. And then what we're supposed to put in, starting from November, because it changes yearly.
It changes
So
on
no, so
October
November,
16th,
right, so
actually.
November to October, the new amount's gonna be 2,216.88. So basically, we're doing the correct amounts into the replacement account. Then in that motion, I made $2,500 just as, because we owe tons of money, which we don't have,
Mhm.
From
so-
when we first.
for
took
when we
this
first
loan,
started getting the loan.
Back in
So
2007.
we've made a motion to start putting the 2,500 in there going forward indefinitely to pay back that money that's supposed to be in there. So that's just an additional $2,500. And so that's takes care of that. And then there's,
And I'll make you a copy of this. What I've done is I only went back to 2019, but when we were doing the budget, we had to give money, we had to put in what we're supposed to do off the bond book to this replacement fund and to the reserve fund. So we went through and we calculated everything from 2019 forward. Right now it goes to 2029, but it really needs to go all the way to 2040. And so all of this is calculated. It changes, especially loan 4 changes all of them change a little bit every year. And so once you have
Right.
this, you can see what the amounts are that I read.
My
off.
confusion is, have we not been paying? We were discussing the USDA loan payments, have we been making those?
no, the loan
The
payments have been
loan payments
fine.
are fine.
No, we have, okay, the USDA loan payments and the payments for all our loans have been correct. And we have been paying them the right amount of money.
Except for the 1 year that they made a mistake
Right.
and they told
That's
us,
what
don't
started
worry
this
about
whole
it.
Right.
thing.
And that's
Right.
what started us
That's
looking
what
at
started
everything
this
is that
whole
they
stupid
missed.
Right.
thing.
But part of that loan, part of the loan book is saying, okay, this is what you have to pay in April and in October. We pay our loan payment, our principal plus interest. So we pay that yearly. So that's a whole separate issue, and we've been doing that correctly, okay? And they made a mistake, but then they didn't want the money, but we're,
Yeah, I mean, I remember that in our meetings,
Right,
because I
right,
thought in this
right.
discussion,
right.
something was mentioned about the USDA loan.
Right, well, this is all part of so in the bond says that we have to meet a certain reserve amount,
Mhm.
which is a payment, if we go default, it's like having a payment for the USDA, okay? So those are the reserve accounts.
Yeah, it's very
Right,
confusing, but they
and
make us
then
figure it out.
they
It's the
require us to have,
yearly average
Right.
annual debt service, which is the
Right.
loans we pay.
right,
10% of that each time on top of the loans we're paying needs to go into these accounts.
right, so then they
It's
have
twelve
another
months.
account, which is
12
a
months.
replacement account. And the replacement account is basically monies that we have to put in for fixing, let's say, a tank.
Whatever
Or,
we use that money,
whatever we
whatever we
use
use
that
that
money.
bond money
right,
for.
so we were supposed to be putting in,
And we haven't been.
and we
putting
haven't
in
been
that
putting
money.
in. And so now that's what we're correcting.
But what we were doing is we were putting money into the capital improvement reserve, because when we were evaluated for Prop 218, they didn't understand the loan book either. And so instead of saying, hey, guys, you're not putting enough money into this and this account, they had us do a whole new account, and we've been putting money into
Which is
that.
long-term
Which
assets.
is great, but that really should have been going into these USDA.
So shouldn't that money come out of there?
I know, I wouldn't do that because we right, we have to really be clear on it, because if we move that money in, cause that money we need in
It's like a
case.
cushion.
Well, yeah, that's
Well-
$1 million, because it's gonna cost us $1 million for a tank, so if we have a major
More than $1 million.
thing, we're gonna be in big trouble.
2.5
Mhm.
million.
Yeah, so this is, so,
None of these have enough money in them for any major failure that might happen right now. However,
Goes a long ways.
yeah,
but yeah,
But it'll start us.
it'll start us in, yeah, so anyways, so that's, if that gives you a little more clarity.
so I'm gonna try to finish this out at some point soon. And then give each of the directors, I think you don't have, I think the only person that has this besides.
Thank you,
yourself is
Deborah, have a good night.
And Deborah has.
Night, Deborah.
Yeah, we did send it a couple
Night.
months ago to,
But then then we all.
then we did it, yes. But that's when we were trying to figure out the budget. If everybody got one for their budget.
Okay,
Okay, moving on.
A motion on the floor and a vote. Do you want to recap your total on your vote? You got on sidetracked on discussion at that point.
We took the vote.
the vote was already done, but I went
We
back
took
and
the
did
vote and I stated what the vote was, which was,
4-1-1.
no,
No, three,
Three, yes, one abstention, zero,
And
no,
one no.
one abstention and one absent.
Yeah,
That's what I wanted to hear. Okay, thank you.
yeah, okay, then repeat it.
Okay, moving on now. Okay, so that was item 7. We
That was a lot of
went
work.
through our closed sessions, so we are now past that and on item 11. So item 11, discussion vote update on Fraser Park Lincolnwood Consolidation Planning Project. 11A is discussion vote, review of the project timeline. I don't believe that that's been settled. We didn't seem to get anywhere at the state update meeting with anything. Where we're still looking into, I mean, Ruben is still trying to bring all this stuff to his superiors, so that didn't change, correct? Dee?
Right. Yes, I.
Right. 11A is still being discussed at the state level. 11B is still being discussed at the state level. That has not been agreed to yet.
yeah, so basically, we have invoices that we have not paid D. And we're still waiting on the state to do the budget adjustment, which would take monies from his design, which is probably only leaves about 150,000 in design if we pay all of his invoices.
I think at the last meeting at the state update, it was more like 100,000.
Or maybe it was closer to 100,000, but basically, looking at, what we had, there was a couple categories, one being consolidation engineering. And,
There's 3 categories we need to move on
Right.
to.
right, so the consolidation engineering,
We owe
I
the
think
most
we owe like $40,000. And then there was, the under, was it engineering report? I think it was.
Yeah, engineering
I think it was
report is
engi-
over also right now.
Right, so I think we had another invoice of about 10,000 at least. So,
And then.
right, so what was left in the design was 206, so once. Basically, like I was saying, we probably have about 140,000 in the design, but it may be less.
Mhm.
So, and we don't have Carlos here to
And
tell us.
there's one other, and I can't, I believe it's the MS. Right,
But anyhow,
or one of the other ones.
so
that we're
basically what's happening is we asked, because we made it clear to them that, number one, we needed a budget adjustment
Mhm.
to take it from the final design. But in the meantime, D has given updated figures for the contract for the design and what's left. saying, look, because of inflation, here, you know, we're short like $800,000. So he gave that information to the state months and months and months ago. They have not made a decision on whether they're going to give us more money. And so basically, he's also given them information saying, well, here's my design budget. I have this much money left if we make that other budget adjustment letter, then this is all we can do, and then the project is done until we go to
Planning.
can
or
go
not,
go
to
into construction, and they have to do a whole bunch of other stuff in construction.
I don't mean to rush you, but, if we do that on every topic that the state is behind on right now, give all the background information, we're never gonna get through the meeting.
We'll
I mean,
get,
cause nothing's changing, because he hasn't caught up on it. It's been the same news for the last 2 months with the new guy in there trying to get caught up with his
All right.
bosses.
I-
But
Yeah.
no one hears that. Tony.
Nobody,
That's-
you and
That's
you two.
great that you know that. It's great that I know that.
We
It's
heard
great
that
that I
in
know.
last month's meeting, cause nothing's changed since last month's meeting either.
okay, well, let's just we'll do it quickly forward, but anyway, so that's where we're at. So basically, on the consolidation project, we're basically waiting on the state. They haven't made a decision on whether they want to help us or not.
Or a decision on the time, changing the timeline.
Right.
So, so if there's no other questions on that right now, we need them to move forward because right now we're not paying our bills, all of them. And but I think there's nothing else on that. We're gonna go to 11C, which is discussion of update on the standby
Okay.
fee assessment and funding.
Did you guys talk about that?
Yeah, so basically, they have, done the, they signed the contract, however, they pushed it out to,
2025.
2025, June of 2025, which.
Oh, a full year.
So yeah, so basically, it's gonna be being done, but it's not gonna help us financially, because we're not gonna be able to do the 218 or any of that information.
Well, that's older information. Do you want me to give you a current update?
Yeah.
Okay, sure.
Okay.
That was
Oh,
just
you
last
got,
week.
you got,
Okay.
Well, I wasn't at the state update meeting,
Oh,
so
okay.
that wasn't talked about. Okay. The Grom is right, the contract's been signed. They actually have begun work. They asked for the first two documents that they needed. One was the last audited financial statements, which I sent them. And they asked for the list of the standby assessments from 24 to last year's assessments, which I gave them. So I believe they're starting the work. Two, I know when Carlos talked to them, they had estimated possibly 18 months. And I don't know what conversations Sarah, who is at NBS, the consultant, had with Carlos, but I emailed Sarah and I said, look at, this is the bottom line. You quoted us 4 to 6 months. You talked to Carlos and you said it could take up to 18 months. But in reality, you need to get us those numbers by May of 25, 1 year from now. If you can do that, we can get our assessment in time to have the revenue hit when we need it to hit. So she said, we're gonna see what we can do. They're gonna try to get us the numbers in time for that. I think we just needed to explain why we needed it and what date we needed it by, and it helped. So we'll see. They've started the work, which is a good sign, so.
Because we also asked that they not do the Prop 218, which would have made it even longer because we felt
There was
that we
some
could do.
optional, right?
Yeah, that we could do that ourselves as we've done it before, and there's, one of the things that was gonna take longer for them was doing the public meetings, the public, outreach. And because we've done that and we think we can do it faster than they could do it, we ask that we do that.
Yeah, so we're thinking it may, at least she knows the date now.
Well, but
and what we need and
come
what.
next year, we're gonna have to see if our CAC or whoever it is can do another Prop 218. right?
They're two different
there's
properties.
two different ones. This is just for the standby assessment fees, and that's something that we can do.
Once we have all the information.
Once
that
we have
they're
all their
ex-
information in there, and they've given us the,
So
the.
We just need
So
that number. If we
there-
can have the number by May, then the following year's assessments will have the new fee.
They're basically doing what RCAC does for the bigger Prop 218. They're doing all the research for us. We just asked them not to do the public outreach vote portion.
Oh, okay, okay.
Okay,
For
so-
this one item.
For this one item, yeah, so, well, that's good news, because they were saying for longer than that.
So I'm hoping they can get it in then.
So May
Okay.
of 25 instead of,
That's the date I gave them.
Which,
We
as
need the
long as
number
we
by
get
May
everything in
25.
by June of 25, then we would be able to start getting the tax
It's
roll.
May, because I have to
Oh,
give them
May.
the amount of the standby
Okay.
fee at the
Okay.
beginning of May.
oh, so you
So
need
May
it,
20.
you need it in April.
No, it's like the first week of May. If I have that number, and that's all I need is the number at that point. I
But
can
don't
give
we
it
have to have
county.
the 218 done
Well,
process?
yes, but, well,
Because we have to,
no, because they're
No.
not gonna be assessed until December of 25, going into April of 26.
okay,
But, I mean, obviously, if it fails, we're gonna have,
then we'd have to go back
yeah,
to
we
them and
want the
say,
process in, but I don't think it's, I mean, we have a year.
yeah,
So
okay.
I don't
We
think
would
that's,
need to make sure that what the procedure is to change that back to the $5, should we need to do that.
yeah, I think.
Bet you that'd be a lot easier than changing it for more money. You said, hey, it didn't pass, it didn't pass, I'm sure that they would drop it back. Cause it would be an illegal
Yeah, and I
fee at
can
that point.
always
County ain't gonna do that, I don't think.
ask them and find out too.
Right,
Cause they always have like, I think August is the final for any last changes. So I'm wondering if they'll honor that for that amount, August of 25.
And we probably could do the outreach, because it's a, how many day?
I don't know how many.
Notification? Is it 60, 90?
Yes,
You have to have the informational meeting, you have to, I think it was like 6 weeks.
yeah.
45, I think, after the public informational, but you need a certain amount.
Yeah, you do need to wait the time before you can have your actual public hearing.
Yeah.
You have to give a certain amount of notice, but
But if we don't get the numbers till May, even though we need them by May, we can't have our meetings before then.
I think we can't have our meetings
No.
before them, but I think if our last time to change it is August, it's cutting it really close, but I think that just brings us to the whatever 90-day waiting period, if it's really 90 days. I think it's a certain amount of days before we can do the informational, and then it's another, because we have to put the information out there, we have to have a public meeting,
and then the public
and
hearing.
then we have a public hearing, and then we have a vote.
Right,
So,
that's why I'm just like.
Well, that's why, I mean, I
It's
pushed her,
cutting it
I'm kind
close.
of, right now, her, before it was 18 months, didn't even have a chance. Now that she's aware, maybe we can get them.
okay, let's move on.
So we just need to
Yeah.
hope that we can push them on that. Okay,
Yeah.
so we're gonna move in, if there's nothing else on 11C, we're gonna move on to 11D. And actually 11D and E, we've already talked about that pretty much in the closed session. I don't think there's anything that we can talk about in the open session right now, as it's all litigation for one of those wells. And then I guess, was there anything else in open session that you want to say about 9?
I note that, the booster and tank site is also on this.
11E. I'm asking you, is there anything on well 9 before we move on to 11E, which is the booster and tank?
Yep, correct, nothing.
Okay, so 11E, go ahead, that's the booster and tank for well 9.
Yes, well, yeah, it's, okay. Yeah, I had a conversation with Emily today. And I've, sent some suggested layouts for that property to Jeff and Emily. And so I'll just say that things, our conversation was very positive today.
Okay, Any questions on 11E before we move on to 11F?
I have a question
Okay,
on 11E.
Yes, Joe.
It just says booster site. This is different than the property that you're looking at acquiring for the well number 9, correct?
Yes, in
Yes.
the closed session, when we went into closed session, you'll note that there's a new parcel number that's been added to that session as far as property negotiation. So there is now a new parcel, but we're trying to consider where on that parcel the booster and tank site would be exactly, and then we're still negotiating for that parcel.
Okay, could you give me that parcel number again, please?
Oh,
Yes, it's on our agenda under closed session. It's I believe this is the one, it's 256-520-13. Is that correct, Dee?
I'll have to check, Lisa, but that,
I got that, Curtis.
That's the new
We
one.
got that from Curtis.
yeah,
Okay, thank you.
I just have to check that.
Okay.
But Joan, just, it isn't the well 9 booster. It is the booster pumping plant and tank site for the system. Okay, and that's what was a little confusing you, and it confused me a little bit too. But if you just take well 9 out of there, then,
Right,
this
so we need
booster,
to remove. Right, because it's even though it will be, well, 9 will be going into that, but there will be additional, it's not only well 9, it's
Got it. So remove.
part of the full system.
Okay.
right.
I can put development of new booster and things like.
Yes, acquisition and development of
Additional.
new or additional booster and tank site, I think.
Okay.
Okay, anything else on 11E?
That's all
Okay,
I have.
11F, discussion vote on project municipal services review, the MSR, the quote draft MSR, data collection, scope of work, and LAFCO. You had mentioned in the state meeting, Dee, that you had caught some errors and you had revised those with Bravish, but we don't know where we are now. Where are we at?
Well, I don't know either, but I talked to Bravish today and he said, early next week. So he's been busy on some other things, and so, it was nearly done.
Okay, so once that is, once those errors that Dee caught are revised, then that new MSR draft is going to go out to everyone. We have an additional look at that, and then we should be done, I hope.
Yeah,
Joan, you'll be
So do I.
looking at that, Joan Tree and Lake of the Woods, you'll be looking at that one more time as well, once we get that back from Bravish. Okay, so, going on to 11G, that's tabled, the memorandum of understanding, that's gonna wait till either the very end of this phase of the consolidation or be in the construction phase. We are going to go on to 11H, which is discussion vote on Lake of the Woods projects and consolidation. Can you catch us up, Joan?
Sure. On the line replacement and permit generator grant, the resolution will need to be modified, so we're working on that with our legal and with DFA's legal for the fully executed agreement in regard to the generator. On the line replacement grant, we are just finishing up our paving and going to go into demobilization. On the future South Tank line replacement SCADA, the plans are being reviewed by us. There's still more work for forestry to do, but they are moving forward. Well, number 4 is still offline, but we'll be doing the labs on that next month, so we'll have much better information on that. Blending station, the nitrates were 5.1 on June the 4th and 5.0 on June the 12th. And our wells as a whole from last month to this month have increased in the volume of water in them. Some of them up a half a foot, some of them up as much as 6 feet.
That's good.
That's it. Anybody got any questions?
Great, thank you, Joan. Okay, so, the last, item under 11 is I, which is claim 43. We don't
Okay,
have
I
Carlos here,
will-
so, Director Nyman's going to do that.
So claim 43, will be submitting, there was, $566.66 for administration. There was for staff recovery costs, $43.04,
No, 53.
$53.04, sorry. And
Well,
so and then there's an invoice for $1,302 for environmental documents. And,
you doing design?
so then there was also, invoice, for
One invoice was pulled out because we couldn't pay it.
right, but there's, invoice 24-00510 in the amount of $3,689, comes out of engineering design. And, the other invoice for the, environmental invoice was for 1,302, was invoice number 24-00511. So that brings the total of this, claim 43 to $5,610.70. So if there's no questions, I would like to make a motion that we approve, claim 43 in the amount of, $5,610.70 under the things that I had stated.
I'll second that.
Okay, there's a motion, a second, any discussion? Okay, hearing none, we'll take a roll call, vote. Director Garcia is absent, Director Nyman.
Aye.
Director Gibson.
Aye.
Director Kelly.
Aye.
Director Schoenberg is an aye, so that motion passes. We will be paying claim 40, we will be submitting claim 43. We're agreeing on the amounts. And that is,
So
4-0-0
you'll get.
with 1 absent. Okay, moving on to item 12, discussion vote update on FPPED meter replacement projects and emergency well supply project. 12A, discussion vote update on well number 7.
Same thing, there's nothing going on. We're waiting for the state to make a decision, for the final payments that we have to make to Unified, and, also to put up the fence and close out the well. So they haven't, and right there, just to bring to everybody's attention on that one last one, we probably have $30,000 that's gonna come out of our pocket, that we're buying stuff that's gonna go into our inventory. So anyways, we're still in a holding pattern again, so.
Okay, anything else on 12A? Otherwise I'll go on to 12B. Discussion vote update on the meter replacement, which is definitely better news. You want to cover that, Dee?
I'll defer, defer to Johnny. He's been close to that.
We're all but done with the meter replacement today. I'm not sure about tomorrow or next week, but today they were going around and patching the asphalt that they had to cut for the meters. But all the meters have been installed with the exception of the ones that they're ordering. They were left off for whatever reason for the project. So we'll find out about that down the road. But the main bulk of the project is done and going well. We did more training today. They sent, Neptune sent Johnny Hill out here, gives a little more training on Neptune 360. So it's moving well.
Okay, any other questions on 12B? I know we did, at the last meeting, approve Johnny to put some money towards the business meters so that we would have those when we're ready to put them in.
And I heard today that the 3/4 inch meters are got at least a 2-month waiting list, and the 1 inch maybe only a month, but still it's all up in there until we actually get them.
But that's another thing that's gonna have to come out of,
That comes out of our pocket because the state cannot pay for the
Right,
businesses,
so-
only for the,
that's what I'm saying, there's money constantly coming.
Right.
Yeah,
Okay,
Okay, anything else on, 12B? We're
No.
not there yet. 12C, discussion vote on claim 28 and other claims. and
okay,
payouts.
so, we're gonna be submitting claim 28. There's, progress payment number 4 in the amount of, 236. It's $249,330 minus the 5% retention. So what we're submitting is $236,863.50, for progress payment 4. There's also, under, administration, we have, a total of, $670 and 37 cents. And, then, we have a invoice for project correspondence meter inspections for D. Jasper and Associates, invoice 24-00515 in the amount of $33,417.58. And, I think, there's also, I see in here, but I don't see it on
on the list.
this claim. It doesn't show on the list. There's a Young and Wooldridge. Let me, hold on.
That's the one that there was an
Oh, okay,
issue
I'm
with.
sorry.
Did they fix that?
They fixed it.
The issue was just that Young and Wooldridge hadn't, given us all the
Okay,
documentation we needed.
okay, let me, go back to this. What I said for administration, there are 3 invoices for Young and Wooldridge. One, invoice 11-2034 in the amount of $97.50. Then, Young and Wooldridge invoice 11-2035 in an amount of $350. And, Young and Wooldridge invoice 11-2036 in the amount of $222.87, which comes to a total of $670.37. So the total, claim comes to $270,951.45. So with that, if there are no questions, I'd like to make a motion that we submit claim number 28 in the total amount of $270,951.45. And
I will second that motion.
Okay, there's a motion and a second on the floor. Is there any other discussion? Okay, roll call. Directors, Director Garcia is absent, Director Nyman,
aye.
Director Gibson,
Aye.
Director Kelly.
Aye.
I'm Director Schoenberg and I'm an aye, so that motion passes 4-0-0 and 1 absent. And that we will be submitting claim number 28 to the state.
Okay.
Okay, so on to 12D, which is the bridge loan, which we are going to ask for that additional money.
What was the payment that we made?
292 to Bruff.
Yeah, what
It
what
was
is,
292. 510.70.
I believe we'll be short a little bit, that we'll have
Okay, hold
to
on.
take out of pocket.
okay, so I make a motion that we request the bridge loan of the remaining money in the bridge loan of $207,489.30. Because we already got the bridge loan for the 292, which we paid, and we have that bridge loan outstanding. And that's in a previous claim. So this one is for, claim 28, so we should ask for the money, so the next meeting,
Additional money up to $500,000.
right,
So that
so
was 207,000 what?
$207,000, $489.30. So whatever amount, the remaining bridge loan money, we need to make that request.
Mhm.
That's my motion, to pay, progress payment for Brough Construction.
Yeah.
Well, we need a second.
I'll second that.
Which one of you
I'll
wants to
third it.
second? Okay, so we'll seconded by Director Kelly. Any other discussion on that before we vote? Okay,
The only thing, before we vote, just so we know, so when we get that bridge loan of 207,000, we're gonna need about 30,000. We're gonna have to supplement 30,000, so we're gonna have to take that 30,000 from our long-term assets or whatever to pay that and then get reimbursed when we finally get the money from that. So, just so everyone's clear.
I got 60,000, 63,000.
How do you have 63,000? It's 236,000. If it's 207. Yeah, let me, because you're
Oh,
not,
because I'm sorry, I was
No,
going on the
no.
total claim. I wasn't going,
no,
okay.
you gotta go on whatever the
Rough
Brough
is,
is.
you're right.
And that's
Okay.
that's gonna be about approximately 29,000 or $30,000 that we're gonna take from our own money to pay Brough
Okay.
Construction prior to receiving the money from the state.
Either that or ask Brooke to wait.
which is also a possibility. So that is something that Dee brought up. And so that may be a possibility as well. If we've paid the bulk of the amount off the bridge loan, they may be willing to let us wait on the 30 something, whatever it is, thousand, until we have that money from the state. So, okay, so, that was motion
So we
there
gotta vote?
and,
So
oh,
we
because
gotta
that was
vote?
discussion before the vote. Okay, so roll call directors. Director Garcia is absent. Director Nyman.
Aye.
Director Gibson.
Aye.
Director Kelly.
Aye.
Director Schoenberg is an aye as well, so that motion passes to
And you'll take
request
care
the
of that,
rest of the
right?
bridge loan money. Up to the 500,000, which is 400 and one absent.
So basically, so going forward, other claims that come in, we have no other money to pay, so hopefully the state starts approving and gives us the money back so we can pay back the loan,
Yeah.
so.
Okay, so on to item number 13, discussion vote update on pipeline replacement project. 13A, discussion vote on engineering and design. I don't believe anything has changed there, has it, Dee? We were at about 95% of the design and we're just in a holding pattern until we can move forward with the application, correct?
That's correct.
Okay, so anything else on that? Okay, so 13B, discussion vote on the project application. We do not have Carlos here tonight, but I believe we had everything in
Yeah.
other than, what did Carlos say? There was still something that they were waiting
Something that
on.
you're waiting?
Not something from us, it's something from. Do you remember what that is, Dee? What Carlos was waiting on the project application?
I don't remember what he said. There were a couple of things that he had to just finish up. It seemed like pretty minor.
But he said everything was gonna be submitted this week.
What, Brahma?
Yeah,
So-
everything that we needed to have in has been submitted.
And it also needed to be done before the end of this year. So he was
He was trying to get everything in before the end of the fiscal year.
Yeah, I know last time it was something about that TA thing.
No, he got the
He got
TMF,
the-
he's
okay.
got that done. So,
Okay.
can you follow up with him on,
To see that he actually submitted it.
Yes,
just so, you know,
because we only have, it had to happen. I think it had to have already happened or happened this, it had to have happened because they're at the end of their fiscal year.
yeah. So hopefully he did it.
Okay, so,
And we're also waiting for, we've submitted the designs 95%. And they were supposed to, what was,
Jesse and
Jesse Dallowell was saying that he was gonna have it by like the middle of July, I think. He was gonna try and have those approved or something. They were gonna work on that,
He'll have
yeah,
his
they were still
review.
through everything.
yeah. Okay,
Okay, so if there's nothing else, I want to move on to item 14. Discussion vote update on Cal OES Community Power Resiliency allocation of special districts grants. Final testing and purchase of the generators.
Project's driving me crazy. We still have one, maybe two generators working the way we're supposed to. The other stuff is still in flux. When Curtis is back in town, I'm gonna have Greg from PTS, meet me and Curtis and Dee for a meeting at Dee's office to try to hammer out the remainder of this. One thing I was vindicated today was, when people got irritated with me for putting the wrong generators at the wrong site, turned out I was not wrong. I had them at the right site, Elm and Well 5.
Oh, no.
Greg from PTS called it wrong, so I had to move them.
Oh,
So
God.
they were supposed to come back out today and move them back, and they did not bring the forklift that they were supposed to bring, so they were unable to move it. So they had to reschedule, and they're gonna have to come back again.
but
Is
they're,
that gonna
but they're,
have to be-
but,
we're gonna have to
they're,
pay?
they're paying, no, they're
No, I know
paying,
they're definitely paying for this one.
yeah, I wanna make sure they pay for that.
Yeah, and I think that, when I have the meeting, that he should also
Pay for the,
pony up the money that we had to spend for.
Yeah, 'cause I was like-
Blaming it on myself when it turned out it
Right.
wasn't me.
so it's like $1,500 or something, so that should be deducted from the total.
But, this guy's already taken it, in the pants. Thoroughly enough to where I don't know if that's gonna happen, but I'm gonna request that.
Right,
But the way he's put this project together from start to finish has just not been professional or good. But I'm not letting them get away with anything, so I'm just gonna keep on pushing back until they're at our satisfaction. And Curtis, I texted with him, I told him, I know he's out of town, I didn't wanna bother him with too much today, but when he gets back, he's gonna let me know, and then we'll schedule a meeting, so.
okay,
And I just want to say that I believe that money, when we finally need to pay that, what's due, it should come out of the SLA account and not the,
which is fine, you know,
We'll try. Now, did we get the okays from the state? I mean, have they okayed the generators that are,
You can't test them, the San Joaquin can't test them until they're operating right.
and they're not all operating correctly.
okay,
So no payment's gonna happen until everything's signed off to mine and Curtis's satisfaction, and then San Joaquin's gonna have to come up and inspect it and give us the approval before we pay anything.
right.
Okay, anything else on 14? Otherwise, I'm going to move on. Okay, we have a brief recess. Does anyone want that, or should we skip it?
Let's skip it.
Okay, moving on to new business.
Thank you, Dee.
Thank
Thanks, Dee.
you, Dee.
Okay, might talk to you next week before the July 4th, but if not, have a great 4th of July.
well, happy for
Yeah,
Thank you.
enjoy.
Thank you. Okay, so item 15, discussion vote on alternates for the ad hoc committees. So what happened is we needed to change up a few things, but we're not able to do that unless we have an alternate in place. So we've been able to do that with the standing committee, but not with the ad hoc committees.
right. That came about when they had to go and look at the
Right.
bond book.
So
It went under us, but.
So I make a motion that we allow alternative, directors for the project committee and for the, finance ad hoc committee.
I think we should state it maybe by seat number or something, so we don't have to actually name names. Are we able to do that?
Will you name names on the ad hoc committee? So I would name alternate names.
Okay, so
Okay,
then we should have more than one.
well, okay,
alternate.
okay,
Yeah.
so I make
No, I
a
would do
motion
what
on
you
the
said.
project
Make
ad hoc
everybody-
committee we allow an alternative, Director, Garcia, Director Gibson, and Director Kelling to be able to substitute in case we need that,
That's the project ad hoc.
the project ad hoc.
Do we want to do these one at a time?
Yeah, we can do one at a time.
Okay.
And don't confuse us.
Too late.
Should you,
Oh, so maybe you should make the motion.
well, I guess he has to make the motion, because there's not enough of.
It's okay, it's not I mean, we're just asking for alternative, I don't think that's a.
Yeah. Okay, is there a second to that motion?
I'll second that.
Okay, so a motion is made and seconded. Is there any discussion before we take a vote on it? No, okay, so roll call directors, Director Garcia is absent, Director Nyman.
Aye.
Director Gibson, Director Kelly,
Aye.
Director Schaumburg is an aye. So for the project committee, we are allowing for alternates of the three other directors that are not on the project committee, which would be Garcia, Kelly, and Gibson, to be on the project committee if needed, on the project ad hoc if needed. Okay, it's next ad hoc.
I make a motion that we allow, Director Nyman, Director Gibson, and Director Garcia to be on the finance ad hoc committee, as an alternative in case of emergencies.
Is there a
I'll
second?
second it.
Okay, so the motion is second. Any other discussion on that? Roll call directors, Director Garcia is absent, Director Nyman,
Aye.
Director Gibson,
Aye.
Director Kelly,
Aye.
Director Schaumburg is an aye, so that motion passes 4-0-0, one absent, as did the last one. I'm not sure I said that. For the alternates for the financial ad hoc, and those alternates would be Director Nyman, Director Gibson, and Director Garcia. Okay, are there any other ad hocs that we're missing? Okay, so then that is done, so we have alternates should someone not be able to be on that ad hoc. Okay, so on to item 16, discussion vote on loaning, selling water meters to the Golden Valley Water District. I am going to have our general manager discuss that.
We have a longstanding, policy to loan to other water districts, meters or pipes or whatever the case may be, and we write it on a clipboard, they always pay it back, but I have a side interest in Golden Valley, so we thought it'd be best to present it this way. What they had asked was if they could, buy one of our scrap 1-inch meters, because the lead time and the cost and everything is so far out on meters. I didn't see a problem with that. I mean, scrap is like $20 with it.
Yeah.
But then it was brought to my attention that we have some meters that we're never gonna use because they're the old dumb meters, so we could just loan them the meter, and then when they get one, they could repay it, or they can just pay us for what our cost is.
You're talking about the old ones that we took out?
Well, now I'm talking about.
Right, I suggested when
We
our
have some-
general manager brought it up, because he was talking about the scrap meters. But it seems silly to do a scrap meter, even though it's much cheaper for them, but it's not necessarily as accurate. So we have meters now that we've replaced all of our meters with
leftover
fancy
ones.
smart meters. We have all these leftover meters. I was suggesting that we either sell or loan that, and probably loan for now until they get a new meter at a later point. One of the actual meters that we're not going to be using, and then they can replace that, or give us the cost that it costs us to purchase it.
And eventually we'll look at, maybe figuring out, because we know what the costs are when we bought them, because we keep track of all that stuff now.
Right.
But if, I don't know if the other water districts use the kind that we have on hand. I want to say we have like 8 or 10 1-inch meters, and then we have, I don't know, offhand 6 3/4-inch meters, but we're gonna need to get rid of them at some point. So if somebody wants to buy them from us or whatever, then we might as well get rid of them, because we'll have to stock smart meters now.
Right.
Right,
So
and-
you might wanna contact you know,
Yeah, I'll reach out to those guys, but in the
Reach out to
meantime, if you
them.
guys wanna
right,
decide on Golden Valley.
yeah.
And
easily-
Golden Valley may wanna purchase the ones that we have because there's a,
Might, over time,
yeah.
over time, because the problem is that there's lead time on all of these meters now.
Right.
So, and then if we're not gonna be using them,
Right.
then,
Well, yeah, there's no sense in them
Right.
sitting.
Yeah,
So I make a motion, that we, approve loaning or selling, the 1-inch water meter, to Golden Valley District, Water District at this time. One of our,
is it a 1 inch that they need right now?
1
or
inch.
3.1?
yeah, at this time, and then they can return it or repay us that cost.
cool.
I have a problem with the loaning thing.
Yeah, well,
No.
that's, I
We do that
agree,
with
I
all-
don't
we do that
understand
with
the
all
loan.
water companies. We loan,
Huh?
we, for the whole year, all the years I've been here, we loan everything from pipes to meters to tools to
By-
equipment.
By loaning, they would not be giving us back the one we're giving them, they would be giving
Oh, yeah.
us a new
Well,
one.
okay, see, that's
To
the next,
replace-
see,
Yeah,
What we
now I get
loaned
your
them.
point.
point.
That
Well,
would be,
that's-
they
we
can't,
do
don't use
not
this for a
want-
year and then give it back.
We do
Yeah.
not wanna use
Yeah.
it
Why
back.
do you want it back?
No, it'd be-
We're
Okay.
loaning until
We're-
such time they have a meter to replace it, in which case
Okay,
they would give us.
I accept that friendly amendment.
Okay,
Okay.
yeah, cause I was wondering about that
No,
too.
we don't loan pipe and then have them pull it back out of the ground and give it back to
Well,
us.
yes, they got their pipe, so they're gonna rip that out,
Right.
like, okay, that's what I was wondering. Okay,
And do you want, I mean, do we wanna just address this for Golden Valley right now, or do we want to address it over the larger, you
Well,
know,
we've
for the
always had
water
this.
districts on the hill?
Well, we've always had it with the other districts.
I know, but I don't think we've ever voted on it.
I think we have, because when we did the mutual agreement, we talked about it. We can do it again if you'd like.
I'd like to see it be any water district up here that needs help, because I think.
And in
that we're-
addition to that amendment, I also, say that we're able to loan
In the same manner,
in the same manner to other water districts if they're in need
on the hill,
on the hill.
because we don't wanna start doing this.
Where's
No.
Golden Valley?
Golden Valley
Gorman.
is Gorman.
Corman,
Oh,
But technically, we are in that agreement still, but it's a locked-in legal agreement
The mutual
for the
agreement.
mutual aid for,
Which
if they
is-
go through the process of requesting the mutual aid.
right,
Right, but that is the whole.
Okay, well,
of-
is there a second on that?
Is there a second on the current motion on the floor?
I'll second that.
Okay,
Now that
any
I
other
understand.
discussion on that? So,
Now that I
so what
understand.
Johnny's alluding to is that we signed an agreement that's much bigger than this. It doesn't just have to do with the water districts up here, but it's actually because we
All of
pay into,
California.
yeah, it's a California, agreement. And that's if there was an emergency, earthquake, whatever, fire, that we would, do the same thing with other companies, but that's through a third party, so.
Yeah.
This is just through us. Okay, so, motion on the floor, I'm gonna take a roll call vote. Director Garcia is absent, Director Nyman,
Aye,
Director Gibson,
Aye.
Director Kelly.
Aye,
Director Schoenberg is an aye, so that motion passes 4-0-0-1 absent. Okay, on to item 17, discussion vote on the update to the district bylaws. So that should be in your book. It looks like, we changed the date, so it's gonna be adopted June 27th, 2024. Should we adopt this? On item number 2, we're adding an alternate because we just did that. We are not adding anything again until we get to item 11. We're adding on the quarterly financial standing committee, if needed, so that we don't have to do the second meeting unless it's needed.
yeah,
On item number 13, we're adding an entire item. That is the presiding member of the legislative body conducting a meeting or their designee may remove or cause the removal of an individual for disrupting the meeting. Prior to removing an individual, the presiding member or their designee shall warn the individual that their behavior is disrupting the meeting and that their failure to cease their behavior may result in their removal. The presiding member or their designee may then remove the individual if they do not promptly cease their disruptive behavior. The only thing that I saw in this that I was concerned about is that we can remove them, but if they don't leave, is there some wording that we, will call the local police jurisdiction?
So this wording is actually just a direct cut out of the Brown Act.
Okay.
It was a new item added into the Brown Act, I believe in 23 or 24. So it's an exact quote, but what the purpose of having this in the bylaw is to boot somebody off Zoom. That's why this is important to have in there.
But
And
this
it's
is,
understood that nobody would physically grab somebody,
Right.
because they recently had that same
this
situation.
has happened, right, that's why I just brought that up,
It's
because,
happened here, it's happened at the city council in Bakersfield, it's happened, but obviously you call the police and they come and remove them.
so the wording does not need to, there
And this is,
doesn't need to be
and this is what
additional,
we show the police right here, that
that it's in our bylaws.
It's because if you're ever challenged, you can say, well, you had it in your bylaws. And again, it's mainly for Zoom, although yes, we do it for the in-persons.
Right, because it's starting to happen at meetings.
can't do, you can just.
Okay, so that,
Yeah,
that's
that's
other,
easy.
we're gonna vote on this as a whole unless you have, I just had a question about the wording, but unless you have, changes to the wording, we'll vote on the entire document. Okay, so then on 14, the meetings of the board of directors shall generally adjourn and we have at or before 9 PM. So that is being crossed out because our meetings are now starting at 4. After 3 hours, if there's an alternate meeting time, blah, blah, blah. So it was just, that was removed. And does it have in here somewhere what time the meetings start?
No.
Because I think we might need to put that in our bylaws. Oh, yeah, you do have it, but that's a change. It says the board of directors shall meet on the second and fourth
Which number?
Thursday of each month at number 10
Okay.
at 4 PM. So that was actually supposed to be read.
Yeah, and I
So that's a-
probably didn't put it in there,
That's a change.
but I did change it.
Okay, so,
Which one?
that,
Number
item
10.
10, she's included the 4 PM, the meeting, the first
Second.
meeting changing to 4 PM as well. So she has.
The second, yeah.
The first meeting, which is on the second Thursday, yes.
The second, fourth, Thursday, both of them are 4.
Okay.
Okay, and then there's, wording on the, nothing on the next
45.
page until we get to 28.
25.
Did I miss that?
Mhm.
On the same page as 28.
Oh, I'm sorry, 25, yeah, so, under 25, we've added all delinquent, if service is disconnected, the property owner shall pay all delinquent charges. Including, and then she said reconnection, so it's, it just specifies that a little more directly. Item 28 has been removed, which is the district can provide backflow testing for cross-connection control devices.
Why is that?
Cause I stopped being willing to test.
And so what does that mean? They need to?
Yeah,
Get their own-
yeah, most places it has to be approved by us and our cross connection control guy. A tester has to come up here and test their device. But we are giving them a break for cost wise, and then I had a business owner in town that tried to use the fact they tested their device 6 months earlier and blame the leak on me, and it just got to be too problematic, so I just stopped testing.
Right, but does it say anything elsewhere about the
It's not
fact
required.
that they need?
It's not required in the bylaws because it's state law governed by the state of California.
Okay. Okay, and then item 30, we have removed of $750.
Charge it.
And it's been changed to at the current rate so that we can, as we need, change that fee when it makes sense. The meter may be replaced at the discretion of the district.
And maybe is a good word for good input.
Okay, I have one question on 25. What do you mean by if services is disconnected, they've been shut off, they have to pay back bills and the current bill and the turn back on?
Yeah, because there's a reconnection fee anytime your water gets shut off. There's a late fee for not paying your bill on time.
Right.
So, yeah, you have to pay everything. Currently, if somebody comes in and makes an agreement to spread out what they owe over time, they don't get locked off. If they don't do those things, they have to pay everything before they get turned back on again.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure that's what I was understanding, okay.
Okay, and then the last change is on item 33. Minimum $200 has been removed and it's been changed to current rate again for the, if someone's caught vandalizing. It would be at the current, because the laws now states that we have to charge what it costs, right?
Right, well, we're building up according to inflation.
And we
So-
want to recoup what it costs.
Yeah.
Right,
Okay.
Okay,
so,
I make a motion.
Well, there's still,
there's one more, which is the 27th day of
Just the
June,
date.
2024.
last page.
I make a motion that we, approve the resolution before the board of the directors of the Fraser Park Public Utility District adopting bylaws and rules and regulations adopted at the regular meeting on June 27, 2024, with the changes that were stated.
Is there a second to that
I'll
motion?
second it.
Okay, there's a motion, a second. Any other questions before I take a roll call? Okay, Director Garcia is absent. Director Nyman,
Aye.
Director Gibson,
Aye.
Director Kelly,
aye,
Director Schoenberg is an aye, so that motion, our bylaws pass, with the new wording, and that is 4-0-0 with one absent. Okay, item 18, review and approve meeting minutes for 6/20/2024 state update meeting.
Okay, I make a motion that we approve state update standing committee meeting minutes for June 20th, 2024. With any of the amendments that were sent to Tiffany previously and after the meeting, as well as any additional amendments for typos or other errors that we may not have caught or that may need to be corrected.
Do I hear a second to that motion?
I'll second that.
Okay, so motion second, is there any discussion? Okay, roll call directors, Director Garcia, Director is absent, Director Nyman,
Aye.
Director Gibson,
Aye.
Director Kelly,
Aye,
Director Schoenberg is an aye to that, so that, meeting minute for 6/20/24 state update meeting has been reviewed and approved, and
Who
That
was the
is-
second on that one?
aye,
Kelly?
Kelly.
so that is 4-0-0 with one absence. On to item number 19, discussion vote on future agenda items. Are there any future agenda items that need to be put on the agenda for the next meeting or any following meeting?
No, man, we got plenty.
Okay, so, with that, I will entertain a motion to
I
adjourn.
make a motion that we adjourn.
I second it.
Okay, any discussion? Want to hang out a while? Okay, roll call directors. Director Garcia is absent. Director Nyman,
Aye.
Director Gibson,
Aye.
Director Kelly,
aye.
Director Schoenberg is an aye, so that motion passes. We are adjourning at 6:00, I can't read that, 6:07 PM.
Okay.
Do I have to
Thank you,
make these
everybody.
changes tonight, or can I come Monday morning and do it?
You can,
On Monday.
you can do it Monday.
Tiffany. Easily.